Okay, hello everyone. Today we're back for another episode of the podcast. And Nathan, it's been a whirlwind, hasn't it? Do you feel like you've been in a whirlwind this week?
I do.
I definitely do. I have managed to get some family history done despite everything, but I definitely feel like I've been on the spin cycle in the washing machine.
Yes, my mind is just blown, to be honest, by everything. It's always blown, is my mind, but I don't know where to look at the moment. There's just so much to do, isn't there? We're so busy, and
Mm.
then my family tree's expanding at an exponential rate. It's good. I'll take it.
Mm. So quickly introduce ourselves. So my name's Helen Tovey. I'm editor of Family Tree, and with me is
Nathan Ward, hello there.
hello. And Nathan is a designer on Family Tree, and he is accidentally addicted to doing his family history. I think it's pretty much accidental with most of us. We don't kind of set out to end up turning our lives upside down and spending too much time on our family history. Anyway, you've recently had a cool email, haven't you, from a podcast listener?
I have, yeah. This one has actually blown my mind a bit. I don't even know where to start. There's a lot of information, isn't there?
Yes, and it's such a thing, isn't it? Like one of the most exciting things with family history is when a real life person on planet Earth gets in touch and says, "Hey, I think you might be related." But obviously, when we do our family history, there's a lot of information, isn't there? And it can be really hard to kind of match up what they're telling you about their bit of research and what you know about your bit of research and to make headway out of it. So I was wondering, when you got the email, like, were you just did that kind of just overwhelm you a little bit?
It did. It did. It's like there was a bit of sort of I was terrified and excited initially. Like the terrifying part is again my own personal pride. It's like someone thinks they're related to me. Oh my, are all my details correct on my Ancestry page? Have I done things right? Oh my God, I'm terrible. And then obviously it's exciting because if it is going to cross over, then that's going to be really helpful to me going forward. So that is exciting. But equally, the amount of information the reader sent us, it's a lot, and that blew my mind quite a bit. It's kind of like, wow, I haven't
Yeah.
got a lot of these people, and I need to now find them. So it's mixed feelings, really. It is exciting, and I want to explore it, but then I'm fighting against myself because my want to explore it is creating a new rabbit hole for me. It's like this is.
Do,
I'm guessing it's on my paternal side.
do you want me to give you some ideas to help you keep calm and know what to do with it when you receive lots of information from somebody?
You bet you.
Okay, so the podcast listener, who we're very grateful to, she's called Marilyn, and she emailed in and she was excited, and we're excited because potentially she's related to Nathan. But as you all know, when we do our family history, just having a shared surname, even with a shared kind of rough area, there's still lots of things are kind of up for grabs, and depending when each of your branches of the family acquired that name, it might be quite far back, and you both might have quite a lot of research to do to be able to establish exactly how you're related. And a bit like, when you wanted to go, and the other week you said, "Oh, I hope I'm related to Ian Fleming." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, you could potentially research that." You could do, and you would be mad to suddenly launch out from yourself to try and see how you're related to some other random person on the planet, because that's such an open-ended, massive network of family tree branches you're going to have to try and build and navigate to find the connection between you. So what you're worthwhile doing is sticking with the very first lesson that we should all learn in family history, is start with what you know and work out from there. So
Hmm.
you know what you know, you're going to continue to gradually build up everything that you've learnt. But equally, it is really exciting to get contact from somebody, and you definitely don't want to waste a lovely opportunity like that, because when a potential distant kin member or closer family member gets in touch, that's amazing that a family's potentially going to get joined up again could be after several centuries even. And different branches of your family will have had different anecdotes handed down to them, different items. Maybe they have a family Bible that you've never seen, or maybe you've got things you can share with them, some of those lovely documents and things in your mum's metal trunk. So you've got cool things, cool potentials there. But equally, you can't just go headlong off researching all of the wards in the world. Well, you could do. Some people do a one-name study, but for the minute, you're checking your own family tree. But I wouldn't want to waste what somebody's told me. So with all the lovely information that Marilyn sent in, whenever, and you're a visual person like me, Nathan, whenever I get sent information in a kind of big info download and I don't know what to do with it, I put it into a family tree because it just helps me make sense of it. So I'm not just reading. You think being editor of a magazine, I'd be really comfortable reading lots of paragraphs of information, but I'm not. I find it much easier to have visual aids to help me. So I methodically go through. Well, it will take me away from my own research that I'm actually doing at the minute, but I think it's time well spent. I go through the information that the person's kindly sent to me and I put it into a family tree, all those names, all those dates. I wouldn't get sidetracked going off verifying anything else. I wouldn't get sidetracked going off to find any documents that might back anything up. I'd literally just put the information they've given me into a tree. And you know, on Ancestry, you've got your one tree at the moment, haven't you? Have you got one tree or have you got more than one tree, Nathan?
I've only got one tree. I didn't actually know I could do another tree.
Okay,
So
perfect. Well, you have as many trees as you want, and you can have one tree public, one tree private. So this is a perfect situation for this. So is your tree that you have, is it public or private?
I believe it's public.
Okay, cool. So this would be an ideal situation that you've got that one as your public tree, but then you could set a new tree up and you could call it Marilyn's tree, for instance, because the only person you're going to see that name and you're going to make this tree private. And you can even make it unsearchable, so no one else can find it, and you've just got that information there. And for me, the act of typing up things, I've banged on about transcribing things before or handwriting them, the act of actually not just reading the information, but actually doing it myself, writing those words, writing the street names, writing the surnames, it doesn't matter if it's typing or handwriting. The act of putting all that information into a tree just kind of makes it log somewhere in my head, even if it's right at the back of my mind. So then you've made it into a lovely tree. You'll be a lot clearer about all the information you've been sent. And then you can just continue with your own research. And at some point you might go, do you know what? I've got family living in Wellington Court or in Lum Street, or I've got an Alfred Harbour and I'm going to see if it's the same one as Maryland's. And you can, from where you are, you might start spotting connections, but then you've built her information into your world, but you haven't got distracted away from your world, and you haven't gone off on a goose chase tracing a completely random ward branch which has nothing to do with either of you. You're sticking to your information, and potentially, hopefully, you'll join in the future. And you're so good at doing your side branches. I think you've got you're maximizing your chance of seeing how you're both connected.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, on this email, there's a lot of information. It's like, obviously, it's brilliant that it's all there, but like you said, I can't see it beyond seeing the names. I can't see the progression at all. So that will help. So if I start building, this might be a daft question. Can I build from any point and go either way?
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, like I've built mine, it starts at me. But if I pick a name, I don't know why I would do this, but because it's in this list, if I pick a name in the middle, can I make generations prior to that and generations after that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can
Cool.
just add as many generations up and down, and then when you set up your tree, like this would be a really good time if you go over to Ancestry, and then anyone, even though it's a podcast and you can't see what we're doing, but if we say what we're doing, then you can follow along if you wanted to do it as well. So you could do two things. You could, one, have a look at the home person on a tree, and the other thing, have a look at setting up setting up your second tree. So you have more than one tree. Yeah. So if you want to set up a new tree on Ancestry, you just go to Ancestry. Then in the menu where it says trees at the top, there's the menu where it says home, trees, search, memories, DNA, whatever. Select trees, and then from the drop-down menu it says create and manage trees. So you click that, and then it'll say in blue writing in the bottom left hand of your list of trees, it'll say create new tree. So you just create a new tree.
Before we get going on this, how do I know whether my tree is public of my tree?
Oh, okay, yeah, we can do that as well. So let's say from the top, go to the Ancestry website, select trees. So we're repeating the steps that I've just said, but I'm reiterating it with these instructions. Select trees from the menu, scroll down to create and manage trees. then choose the tree that you want to take a look at. So you've only got one tree, so choose that tree. Over on the right-hand side, it'll say tree settings. Click on tree settings, and then it will say tree settings in big writing at the top, and then below that will have tree info, privacy settings, and invitation. So
Right.
select privacy settings, and then you can choose which button you want to press. Do you want to press it to be a public tree?
This is just my main tree, so that is a public tree. Cool. So that's where I can change it should I want to.
That's where you change it should you want to. So for this new one, you're going to do create and manage trees, create a new tree. You can call it whatever you want. Let's say, so for now, let's just call it Marilyn's tree, and you can change the name if you want to.
Well, I just created a tree with one person's name in it,
Mm.
and then I navigated away from it,
Mm.
and now it's not there at all. So
I think it wanted us to carry on doing more, add in more information before it classified as a tree, which doesn't make sense to me because you do see trees with virtually no one in. But anyway, so the main thing to remember is either keep on adding information so add in more people from Marilyn's information.
okay.
So, Nathan, you said out of the information that you got from Marilyn, does it matter who you start the tree with, and can you add older and younger generations to the person, whoever you start your tree with? So yes, you can do that. And no, it doesn't matter who you start the tree with. So let's say you just pick the first person off Marilyn's list of information that you sent you. That's completely fine. But you may find that once you've built the tree, you think, oh, actually, this person's right over on the side of the tree there. They're not really the central person, and you'd like to make somebody else be the home person. So the home, that's the person from whom all of the branches would kind of branch out. So on your own tree, you're the home person. On my own main tree, I'm the home person. If I set up a tree for my mum, I'd make her the home person. But you can subsequently change who the home person is. So you just go to trees, create and manage trees, like I said, tree settings, and then in the tree information tab, over on the right-hand side, it says your home person in this tree. And there's two options. You can go change or set to none. So you can choose to not have anyone as the home person, or you can change the person. So the first person you set will be set as the home person. You can change it from one person to another. So that's where you would alter that if you subsequently felt like, oh, why have I got this person as the main person on the tree?
Right. That's really handy.
There's so in the tree building stuff, there is loads of helpful stuff.
That is cool.
Really
Lost
cool.
now. I'm lost in someone else's tree. I'm too busy to do anything else.
Yeah, I can tell you're not concentrating. You're too busy building that tree now, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes, and another tree, another rabbit hole. Next time you see this tree, it's going to be wide enough to fit round the world and be 2 or 3 generations back.
And this one will accidentally link to Ian Fleming without me doing anything. It's going to be brilliant.
That'd be amazing. Yeah.
This is good. It's kind of like taking the principles of the research log, isn't it? It's like you've got this information. It's all really good, but I'm not going to use it right away.
Yeah.
So now, like you're saying, plonk it on a tree. I can forget about it until I get to a point where suddenly I'm like, oh wait, I recognize that name, and then away I go.
And you are going to set up a file in your emails or folder in your emails or somewhere and save all that information, or copy and paste it into a Word document, save it. Say email from Marilyn sent on this date, and I would include that in your research log as well, and you could hashtag it correspondence or something, because over the months and years other people will email you, and it means that you've got a log of who's corresponded with you, because before you know it, like I have people who just a couple of nights ago somebody rang me up and I was looking through my messages and I had a message from them like in about 2021, another message in 2015. So the way family history is, it's on a different time scale than normal. You wouldn't normally have built from the blue conversations with people every 5 or 6 years, but as time goes by, it's possible, then it happens. But you're never going to remember that unless you've got some sort of record or way of checking, are you?
Long-term correspondence.
Yeah, pen pals. Nathan isn't concentrating on the podcast, so I can see his screen and he's just busy tree building.
I'm concentrating on the podcast. It just happens that it's helping me to create as well.
Yeah. And so I would say, as well as saving the correspondence, I would definitely do something with it. Write it up, make it in a way that's digestible to you. If you're the sort of person who has a photographic memory and you can just read something and it all goes in your head, then you're extremely lucky and consider yourself blessed. But if you're somebody like me who needs help to interpret the information, I'd say build a tree for it.
This is, I mean, it is exciting. I feel much calmer already, having just done
Exactly.
look
The hard
like
thing is having a plan, isn't it?
when this email came in, I honestly was like, "Oh, this is brilliant," but it's overload, and like, what are the chances of me? Especially because I've gone on my mother line, and this is potentially on my father's line.
Mm.
It suddenly panics me. I thought, "Oh, I need to move over and get to this." And one thing that really grabbed me from Marilyn was that she says she's related to someone called Fred Ward, who is also known as Captain Thunderbolt. I mean, obviously that instantly appeals to me.
Yeah.
I want to be related to Captain Thunderbolt.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there is the carrot, and I will be chasing it.
Yes. Yes. Maybe she's done. You know what? So when we advise people on how to get, it's normally for DNA matches, but it does apply to other family historians. And the general advice Michelle always says this, she says, always dangle a carrot. And the carrot could be like, I've got some amazing photographs of your great great granny, in amazing Victorian costume or whatever. And I think Marilyn might have just dangled the carrot at you with that Captain Thunderbolt thing. And you've fallen for it. Anyway, it just shows how effective it is as a tactic for corresponding with someone. Mention something super tempting to increase the chances that they're going to want to reach out back to you and make contact.
Oh, I now want to get related to this guy, and then I will change my name to Captain Thunderbolt
Yes.
as a direct descendant. So,
Yes. I wish you luck. I can't wait
thank
to
you.
find out.
Oh man, it's
Mm.
shocking. I've already got so many rabbit holes.
Mm, that's the charm of it.
It is.
Yeah.
Again, it's something to focus on, isn't it? And it's actually quite good because as I keep saying, I don't know why, but I'm obsessed with the mother line. I like all the names that are popping up, and tracing my ward line hasn't been as appealing because I guess because it's the name Ward, it's somebody with the same name, and it's obviously they marry people, so there are other branches. But initially, if you're just tracing that direct line, it's the same name continuously.
Mm.
Whereas on the mother line, I'm getting all sorts of exciting and interesting names. So this is a cool little way to draw me in.
Well, that's interesting to hear your perspective because sometimes people feel extra loyal to their direct kind of paternal line or direct maternal line.
Mm.
And they like the fact that it's got the same name and it makes them, that's their kind of safe territory or point of interest. They stick with it over and above everything else. So you're back to front.
I'm not doing that. No,
Yeah.
I want to give everybody the fair share of my attention. So
Mm.
it feels greedy just to be like, oh, I'm going to just go for Ward. But I actually think there might be crossover as well. I think there's a lot of crossover between Wards and Woods within both sides.
Mm.
So this particular reference from Captain Thunderbolt could come from either side.
Do you know what? I was on a walk last night and I had a thought about your Jane Genie situation. And I don't think you mentioned it in the podcast last week. And that's precisely like when you said about your Ward Woods getting muddled up. So with the Jane Genie, then potentially when I told I've got all bossy and I said, right, you need to gather all the instances of Jane, all the instances of Jeannie, and see do they kind of transform themselves into one or two people? Does that data do that? And it could be we didn't touch on the possibility that there are actually two wives. He could have been married to Jane and then be married to Jeannie, or vice versa. So that's really worth keeping the BDI in all of the records that you look at. If there's any instances of what her maiden name is or anything to lead you to believe because it'd be tempting to go, oh, well, it's clearly she's called Jane, her nickname's Jeannie, it's one woman. But if you do that, you could be missing out on the fact that he actually had two wives.
Yeah, definitely. Well, all sorts of things like that are creeping up, aren't they now? So
Mm.
it is making me a little bit more mindful. Like, again, going back to the people dying in childbirth and
Mm-hmm.
not really taking any note of the date ranges, all
Mm.
little small clues that you can just quite easily overlook.
Mm.
Reminds me of those little logic puzzles you used to get in crossword books where you had boxes and like names and locations and dates and so and so was doing this at this time in this room, so it can't be that other person.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? I can't remember.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Um,
it is.
Logic boxes or something.
I've never done that, but it is like that. It's using your logic to rule people in and out of the story
Yeah.
possibilities. Yeah.
It's like using negative space to create a positive. They're not here, then that's yeah.
Neat. Nathan, I've got a confession to make.
Have you lied to me?
I haven't lied to you. Well, have I? Maybe I have lied to you. I've just been a massive hypocrite.
Okay, go for it.
So, the person who rang up the other night is my grandpa's cousin. So, I mean, I am not a spring chicken. So, for me to have my grandpa's cousin able to ring me up and talk to me is pretty cool. Yeah?
Yeah,
Same generation as my grandpa, who died 30. No. Yeah, 30. Over 30 years ago. Yeah? So this is like a time travel thing, having somebody from that generation to talk to. It's cool. It's really cool. Anyway, so he had asked me whether I'd help trace information about his dad, who was in the Royal Navy. And I was like, wicked, because Graham Bandy has been writing those amazing series of military articles. So I was like, oh, I actually haven't traced somebody in the Royal Navy. Like, both my grannies were in the Wrens in the Second World War, but I haven't done any further back personal Royal Navy research. So I was like, this is cool. Going to find out about him. So all I had to go on was his name and nothing else. Yeah.
Okay.
So then go to Ancestry. I've got his name, and immediately I can't find him. And I feel like a blooming newbie. And I was like, oh.
Oh, I think I know where this is going.
So what do you think I did?
I think you used hints.
Oh, I did use his. I just felt I was like, oh, if Nathan could see me now. But anyway, I did use the hints, and they were brilliant. They were so helpful. So, but in my defense, I used them knowing and remembering that they're hints with a capital H. They were fantastic. And I did do the things which you always worry about. I did my normal strategy so that I didn't have to worry whether the hints were leading me up the garden path. So I had his name, started trying to search for him, couldn't find him. And I'm not going to say his surname because I want to keep because my grandpa's cousin's still alive, but I can say his first names. So his first name was given to me as Edward William, and I just couldn't find him. And then I thought, I'll just do the thing like what you had with your ancestor. I'll just try on just using one surname or the other surname to find out what my possibilities are. And I was looking across all the different data sets, so like birth, marriage and deaths and censuses and the 1939 register. And I thought, because although I'm trying to trace his Royal Navy service records, I need to learn about this person to find out what his date of birth is, to find out, all these kind of personal biographical details. Otherwise, I'm not going to know which person it is in the Royal Navy records, whether any of them are mine, yeah, or his. So I did do really thorough research across all these different things to find out how many other people by that name there were. So who could I have they got in a muddle with, blah, blah, blah. So, but I did use the hints. Yeah, I did. They were brilliant because I did use them as a kind of confidence builder. So I did my other research and then I was like looking at the hints going, okay, well, that person thinks that as well. And it did build my confidence. So people can hate me for being such a hypocrite, but it was nice. So
We don't hate you. We've just brought you around to our side now. I'm Darth Vader and you're Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
It used to be the other way around.
And because it's like I do. It's not like I'd forgotten. Well, maybe I had forgotten. But when you go on a new branch or brand new people that you literally don't know, when they say the mother's called Lizzie, you're like, could be, and you've got no hunch of this family. That no clues to go on. No clues. Where in England am I looking? I knew. Well, wasn't even new, but I was fairly sure he was English.
Yeah.
So I did feel a bit at sea looking for this naval person.
Nice.
Oh. Anyway, I did find his records in the end. That was very, very exciting. And I found the names of some of the ships that he served on.
Oh, wow.
That was really cool. And I got pictures of the ships he served on. And they're fantastic. Like, I'll try and describe it. So one of them's called HMS Powerful and it was built in 1895. And by the time my grandpa's cousin dad was serving on it. See, I'm that's kind of getting into rabbit hole territory, isn't it? Because my grandpa's cousin's dad isn't actually my blood relation. It's my grandpa's cousin's mum, who is my great great auntie, whatever. But
Right.
that's how far back it is. Like, that's why I'm so excited to be talking to a member of that generation. Anyway, so this is massive ship called HMS Powerful, built by Vickers, so that's really famous shipbuilders. It's got 3 rows of portholes going up the side of the vessel, so it's big, massive, meaty vessel. And another one was called Lion. I've got a picture of Lion, so, and these look like the classic kind of First World War vessels that you see. They're not dazzle painted in the pictures that I found, but they still look. They've got huge guns on them. Like, the guns are about 4 or 5 portholes long. So I'm thinking, well, a porthole's going to be like one a bed or one every few beds. If you've got a gun which is 4 or 5 portholes long, it's a
Mm,
really big gun.
that is a big.
Says technically.
It's an accurate measurement.
Well, it's just big, isn't it? It's like a
Yeah, no,
vessel with yeah. So, and they were serving up, I think, around some of the other names up around Jutland. So this is like major First World War sea battle territory. It's exciting stuff. So I've got lots of little rabbit holes to go on, and then I need to print it all out for him and print it out nice and big and legible and pop it in the post.
yeah, that sounds
Old
amazing.
school.
I'm instantly very jealous of all of that. Again, I know I keep saying it, but I never thought I'd be interested in the story aspect of
Mm.
family history. But it is exciting, isn't it? To like, I want to have ships that I can see, that I can say that my relatives have been on, and all that sort of stuff. It does really flesh them out and give you character.
Yeah, I think you've got to know the what it actually felt like. Because I didn't know what I waffled on about this. I waffled on about my grandpa. So I obviously had known for ages that he was a prisoner of war. Like, all my life I'd known that, and I'd found out what he was doing around V-Day just recently. I pieced together like day by day what he was doing. And then I was like, and then when he got liberated from his prisoner of war camp, which was Rangoon, then he went up to the Himalayas. And as a rabbit hole person, I do have lots of these phrases in my family history, but it does also irk me. I'm like, you don't just went up to the Himalayas. Like, how did you get there? Did you go by a cart? Did you go by a boat? How did you get there? Like, it's not just a quick little journey. You're traveling from one end of Burma pretty much to the other, I think. Um, it's a big journey in wartime. How did
It
you
is,
get
yeah.
there? What happened? What was it like? So anyway, I did manage to find how he went there, and he went on a boat as well, which with my rubbish memory has gone clean out of my memory, but I have, of course, written it down, so it's okay. But it's cool anyway, because then I could get pictures. I got pictures of his boat, and it's just useful to see. He went on a hospital transport ship. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's great. It's like, again, the visual aspect of it. You can imagine like a scrapbook where you can like dedicate a page to a said ancestor, and you've got your stories, but then you've got these pictures as well, and it's just
Mm.
really nice idea and keepsake. And obviously people do this, but it's not something I'd considered. So it is exciting. I just
Mm.
need to find people. That's why I'm now very keen on Captain Thunderbolt.
Exactly. He sounds like he might have like things to do with wanted posters out.
Well, they said he's a famous bush ranger in Australia. So yeah, who knows? I need to not think about this too much, otherwise I will just go there. Danger.
Mm. Yes. Don't. Yeah. You have to park it, or maybe you could allow yourself like a little bit of research into him, just so that you know the details from him.
I don't know. That could lead to heartbreak. What if I get so obsessed by Captain Thunderbolt that I'm just devastated when I find out I'm not related to him?
Mm.
I'm already not a Viking. I don't think I can take another one of these blokes.
Mm. Mm. Okay, stick with your own research then.
I will.
Yeah.
Here's one for you.
Mm.
It's just random musings, this, but are you more prone to liking an ancestor because they've got a cool middle name? I've got ancestors where I don't know their middle names,
Mm.
so I type them up, I put them on the tree. And then I've got a couple with cool middle names, and I'm drawn to them. George Horatio Nelson, obviously one. And then recently I've got James Maxwell Mackay, And it's
Mm.
just like, oh, that's a good name. I like that name. And suddenly I'm just lost in these names because they're cool.
Well, yes, I do love the ones who have middle names, but I'm so much more nerdy than you because you're like, rah, good name. Whereas I'm like, oh, thank goodness, good set of information, because then those middle names mean I've got a nice nerdy collection. And, there's going to be, so for instance, my maternal grandfather, so my great grandfather, he was called George Hallis, but then he's really, really good at including his middle names. His middle name's Spencer, and he's George Spencer Hallis. George Spencer Hallis. He's always including his middle name, and so it makes him so much easier to trace.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think actually secretly maybe that's what I actually enjoy as well. As much as I love the name, it gives you so much confidence, doesn't it? When you say,
Mm,
and there's not going to be that many George ratios, surely, and boom, it gives you
mm,
slightly more confidence to believe in what you're reading. So
mm. And now one of my grandpas, the one who was prisoner of war, I think it's going to turn into like Tank Man. This is like prisoner of war man. But so that grandpa quite often he went by his initials, which are J.E.S. Hill, and so that's his name was John Hill. So there's a lot of John Hills around. So having his initials really helps me find him.
yeah, that's
We
beautiful.
liked using them a lot.
I think I have said before on my tree on my dad's side, and again, I've not researched it other than getting the basics down, but there were three generations where they all named the son David,
Mm,
and none of them had middle names. And then it gets really, well, for me personally, until I'm been fact checking and looking at the dates in particular, it's really hard to distinguish which record's which and which one goes with which person
mm,
who's married who. I'm sure it's all going to make sense when I do sit down and properly look at it, but it makes, as a researcher, it makes it a nightmare, doesn't it? They should have been a bit more considerate and have
mhm.
silly middle names and made it a lot easier to follow. But
Mm. And also, those middle names, just so often they do have family connections. And sometimes you can sort them out. Sometimes, obviously, the middle names are if somebody's if the dad, if the if the mother's parents aren't married, the mother might give the baby a middle name, which is a clue to who the dad is. That's a really frequent thing. Or sometimes we've got people who I think it's in the 1861 or 71 census. There's a lodger living with them, and their surname is Smart. But then they subsequently go on and give a couple of their children, not all of their children, weirdly, this person's surname was a middle name. But so they must have really got on well with the lodger. They must have kind of ended up subsequently being like family friends or something. Because
yeah,
I haven't found a connection before that. Or maybe they were already friends. That's why the lodger came to live with them. I don't know. I haven't sorted that out. But it's funny when you spot the reasons for a name, and it adds to the story.
yeah, it can also, I guess that's another rabbit hole you could go down though, couldn't it? Like you've mentioned before about checking like the census and seeing who lived with who and
Mm.
these lodges, etc.
I don't think that's a rabbit hole. I think that's diligent research.
Okay.
That's my
How would you even put? I mean, you wouldn't put that on your tree, though, would you? I guess it's just fact checking that you'd put that as a fact, maybe, would you? Yeah.
So, yeah, I would, if you found a funky thing like that, then, so I like building my tree on Family Tree Maker. So, not, I do build it on Ancestry, but I like building it in Family Tree Maker. And there's a lot more scope for adding more stuff. So I would just, in the notes about the person, in Family Tree Maker, you can either have notes for each of the facts or you can have notes about the person. So I just go to the person notes and just pop anything random in there, going, hey, can you believe it? Helen Smart McPherson is called Smart because they had a lodger living with them in the 1861 census who was called, I can't remember his name, Andrew Smart or something. So I think that's why she's called Smart, but who knows? And so it's just a little note to myself. Yeah.
Mm.
And then if I'm feeling organised, I'll write a date. So I'd write, let's say I wrote that note today, I write blah, 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 whatever today's date is. Because then I know when I was thinking those thoughts, even though it's very scruffy, but it's over time, it's a little useful pebble and it might be more useful than what you think.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, I wouldn't not write it down. Hmm.
Yeah.
Having said that, my second bit of the confession is so I have just, what has happened to me, Nathan? So I've gone on Ancestry, I've got stuck with this person. Before I know it, I'm looking at the hints and being thoroughly grateful for the hints. And then I haven't written anything down. I've got all these billions of tabs open on my iPad. And I'm like, at least my iPad, because it's just for me, for my own home life. So I've got all these tabs open with all these different things that I found. I was telling you, showing off about the ships I'd traced and blah, 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 blah. But if someone was to just shut all those Google tabs, I guess I could go in my Google history. But at the moment, it's very ephemeral. And then
Oh
write
dear.
it up. I know. And
Not on your research log.
it's not on my research log. It's in my tiny mind. And it's very vulnerable at the moment. Yeah, really forgotten.
Oh dear.
And it's like I said, it's been a really busy week. So it's just been little snatched moments. I'm making excuses. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. I should write it down.
I mean, you should. You really should. I mean, I'm a bit disgusted with you, but it is hard work. 'Cause, like, I'm doing my research log, then I've got my Excel document, and then I've got my ancestry tree,
Mm.
and I know my ancestry tree is bigger than my Excel document,
Mm.
and I know I've got newer details on ancestry that aren't on my Excel document,
Mm.
but I have logged them on my research log. So I'm a little all over the place. Like, I've got all the information, but it's not necessarily all in every place. I mean, as long as it's on Ancestry, I guess that's good.
I think for me and you, I think I'm going to have to just eat lots of humble pie and have a reality check about myself because I feel a bit in chaos as well.
Mm.
So years ago, when my kids were teenagers, and so I was a busy working mum, got these teenage kids who loved doing loads of sports. I was always driving them around everywhere, and our house got messier and messier. That's my excuse. Just didn't have time to sort it out. And I was feeling a little bit desperate because it was too messy. And there was this woman called Fly Lady. There is a relevance to this story. And so she helps people get domestically organized. And she says, doesn't matter where you are, just start with where you are. Don't worry that the whole house is a mess. Literally just start at your kitchen sink. Right, I'm going to tidy up the sink. And
Mhm.
and then each day you can gradually add in another thing that you're going to tidy up. Keep the sink tidy, but then make sure everyone's shoes are tidy and just gradually get tidier. And you can only start with where you are. You can't go backwards because we can't time travel backwards. We can only start with where we are. So for me and you and anyone listening who is feeling in a muddle with their family history, then you can start with where you are. So you can go, for every new fact from now on, I'm going to do my best to make sure I've added a source for it and I've written it in my research log. And I'm not going to cry if it doesn't happen with all of them. And if I do it for 4 of them and I forget a 5th one to be so meticulous, it doesn't matter. It doesn't invalidate. It's not perfect, but it's still it's still worth writing down and being meticulous about as much as you possibly can. And it doesn't matter if it's not a perfect job done. It's still a really good job done. It's still a really worthwhile endeavour. Doing your family history in itself is a really worthwhile endeavour, and doing any notes to yourself to clarify what you found and why you found it and why you think what you think. Anything is helpful, but don't worry if it's not perfect. It's still better than nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, I was, before you just said all of that, I was like, right, I need to say my next family tree day is an admin day and just
That's
complete.
not a bad idea.
Yeah, but it's boring.
It is boring. Yeah.
And what you said's better. It's like, just be present, do what you can while you're doing it.
Hit the joy of it.
Exactly, and that's what I was gonna say. You need to enjoy it and love it, and that's more important than, obviously, having the correct facts is very important, but it's more important to enjoy where you are and get something out of the hobby that you're doing. So
I think we've thought of a fantastic reason there, haven't we, for just bad admin, just having fun doing our family history.
yes,
Brilliant.
we can slack off.
Yeah. So we've been doing the podcast. I think this is our 24th episode. So it's taken 24 weeks for you to win me over to the side of hints.
I know, it's brilliant. You'll love it. Welcome to the party, pal.
Oh, I just feel worried. Like, I feel like I'm somebody who's eaten healthy food for years and then I've had a McDonald's and it's on a slippery slope and I'm just going to have another one now.
Well, I'll give you a few recommendations in a few weeks' time. When you've gone too deep, I'll be like, no more hints, Helen.
Yes, no more hints. Yeah. So what are you going to do next in your family history then?
I'm not gonna look for Captain Thunderbolt. I'm not gonna look for Captain Thunderbolt. I started on the McKay line, so I'm gonna follow that through a bit more. The other week I said I got to a point where I was a bit freaked out about the locations, etc. So I do want to resolve the Genie Janie mystery, because that will then help me get further back or sideways a bit more.
Mm.
And I know I could leave it and come back, but I feel like I want to sort of try and resolve that at least.
Mm.
I am now very keen to get onto my father's side and have a look for some wards, but maybe won't do that next. I'll stick with McKay for now. Like when we very first started doing this, I had the Viking thing, didn't I? I was like, that's
Mm.
for the Vikings. And then the one name that came out that got me interested was McKay because it was sounded Scottish, obviously, because it
Mhm.
is, and it wasn't just in Pudsey. So
Mm.
now I'm on that little bit of that journey. It's kind of nice to suddenly have moved away,
Mm.
even though it's got its own terrors. So I think I will try and tidy that bit up. And once I've tidied that bit up, I might not go further back. I might try and then get back. Going to research some more immediate family. I filled in most information on my second great grandparents, so I'm quite happy with that.
Mm.
So now I want to like do a few more third generation. It's impossible. I'm lying to you. I'm just telling you lies. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go across the road and get a third generation. But we all know as soon as I start on one strand, I'll just go back with them.
Mm.
So
Have you been watching any of the Who Do You Think You Are that should be on the telly?
I haven't yet. I keep lining it up to do
Mm.
so. I've recorded them.
Good, really good. So that's exactly what they do, though. So when I absolutely love Who Do You Think You Are. So this isn't meant as a criticism at all. But if you actually look at how many people they find and what they do, they don't. Well, they in the course of doing their research, they will find way, way more, obviously, than they're going to show. But what they show you on the telly is they trace a line back, don't they, until they get to an interesting story, and then they stop. So sometimes they might go back just to somebody's great grandpa and find something cool in the First World War or their grandpa. Stop,
Mm.
tell you a story about them. And they do the thing which we do. So they trace the line, find the person, stop at the point of the interesting story, build out about that person so you learn about their life, and then put their life in context. So build a bit of history around them. Because knowing them on a ship is one thing. Knowing them on a ship in a battle in the First World War, you're like, okay, this is a different sort of ship. Yeah. And it makes it and be really memorable and exciting. So they do that anyway. They follow a line back till they get stuck and interested. So you're in good company. That's what I'm trying to say.
Fabulous.
Mm.
Like you've said before, you can't do any wrong, can you? As long as you're interested and you're doing it, then you're winning.
Mm. 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 So I am going to write up my information that I found about this Royal Navy guy, though, because I need to give it to my grandpa's cousin.
Mm.
Yeah, and he
That's
needs
quite good.
he needs it written up and printed out and everything. So I will be writing that up, and I am going to continue to be a diligent researcher and only snack on hints occasionally.
You won't get any complaints from me. They're awesome. I might not say that though. I might because again, it's that middle name. I've used lots of hints for George Horatio because it seems quite easy to find him.
Mm.
Whereas when I get to somebody called David Ward and there's three of them,
Mm. Okay, it was good to see you. Thanks for tuning in to the people who've listened. And if you'd like to find out more family history, we have a really good e-newsletter and it comes out at least once a week. And the one which comes out on Monday is packed with good information. And then often we take you off to a guide so you can get even more information, and that's all completely free. And all you need to do is go to our website, which is www.family-tree.co.uk /newsletter -up. And then you can get a lovely free e-newsletter and you can get all sorts of tips and tricks about records, strategies, ideas for places to look and things to do to learn more about your family history and your family story. So enjoy them.